Alright, so we got some Lloyd's exhaust. I'm going to put on the Magnum today. If you guys watched any of the other videos I do a drive-by with the stock exhaust system, with the exhaust mod. And hopefully we can do a comparison between the two. You know, watch that video and then watch it. I'll do another drive-by with the Lloyd's on there. Also Lloyd's air filter and Lloyd's fuel controller. And we'll see if we can get a couple other things on this year. So I just got them unpackaged. Well, they come with a sleeve over them and boxed up, and they do look decently beefy. And that's sweet because that's what I was kind of looking for. Big slash cut straight through, and you got your mesh in there. Yeah, that should look pretty sharp though. Some kind of spacers. It comes with very limited instructions to put them on. Don't know if I got to take off the saddlebags or not, but I'll try doing it without it. If I really can't do it, then we'll take them off. I'll turn this into a little bit of a how-to video too, I guess. So I'm going to have to take them off because there's a couple bolts underneath here I need to get at. This right here looks like 15 millimeter. So 50 millimeter, take these off, and we'll go from there. Alright, taking this off, 2 bolts. Looks like there's a little connection here for the speakers. Take that off as well. Just don't rip this thing off, or you know, you'll lose your speakers and have to redo a bunch of stuff. Alright, here on the inner side, speaker connection. This was plugged in, but all you have to do is press this little tab in, pull this side out. That was fairly easy to do. Wasn't corroded in yet or anything. Bike's pretty new, so. And on the other side, you got your USB port connections that are underneath the seat. So pull those out and disconnect them just the same way. Alright, looks like we got 13 millimeters here, and actually I think it's 3/8 on the hose clamps to get the heat shield off. Thought it'd be a 10 millimeter, but there was a lot of slop, so 3/8 looked like it worked fine. Alright, afterwards, the heat shield off, 15 millimeter. This clamp was on here. Loosen it up, take it off. Took the bolts off the bed, it's just kind of hanging here now. And now we're just going to try to slide it back and forth and get it off. Alright, so taking off this side, got a hose clamp here. And then this is a different size. Let's see. Let's try. It's a 10 millimeter. So we'll take that off and get this other side off. It took a little bit of, or a lot of wiggling and jiggle to get that thing off. I think I might have to clean this rim after since I got these saddlebags off here. Clean up a little bit. Alright, so now we got the pipes off. I'm just going to peel these off. And put them right back in. On the new ones. Just that easy. Alright, so I just got the pipes on. I just want to give you guys a tip when you're putting this these clamps back on. So now these flanges aren't compressed, so they're a little bit bigger. Well, they got this little notch right here. Focus in, there you go. That notch. Well, on these clamps, this thing right here, right there. Let's focus in on it. Yep, right there. Well, that gets caught up on this lip because it's not compressed yet. So I'll show you down this other one. When you're trying to put that clamp on, that little thing in there has got to go. Come on. You put it on this area right here, and you have to wiggle it back and forth, and it'll finally slip on. I just tried to go over just any part of it, like this part, and I just cannot get that clamp back on. So put it over that notch and then wiggle it on, and it'll go on. It needs just that little bit of gap. And now that I got it back on, I suppose the best thing to do is fire it up, make sure I don't have an exhaust leak somewhere before I assemble it back. Well, I can tell you now that's a hell of a lot more AC. It's a cold start. Just gonna let it warm up here for a couple seconds before I start cracking the throttle a little bit. You guys might be able to hear a little bit better. And I'll do a drive-by later. It's just sweet, they look beefy. No more of that stock exhaust tip. I didn't want that, and I didn't want an aftermarket one on there. I just don't like the look. I like the look of a big pipe like this hanging off. Oh, jeez. I got it all back together, and it was kind of a pain in the butt to get these bolts in on both sides. Front ones went in fine, these ones went in fine. This one I actually stripped out, and I'm gonna have to replace it later. Right now it's kind of holding, but there isn't a bolt in the back, it's a clip right there, and that clip stripped it out. I actually had my son standing inside of the saddlebag to try to compress that rubber stopper that's on the bottom of this, that protector, to compress it enough so I could get something in here. I put a screwdriver through it to try to line it up, and I got it halfway lined up, but I tried to force this in, and it just pretty much ended up stripping out, so I'm gonna have to replace that later, probably with the actual bolt and a nut next time. I don't like that clip in there. So that's what it is, and let me tell you how badass this looks. That pipe is huge. There's the profile from the top. Only sticks out maybe a ½ inch. That's pretty sweet. And they are pretty loud. I got these with no baffles in them. And like I said before, hopefully I'll be able to get a drive-by a little bit later. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it today, but maybe tomorrow or next day, depending if it's gonna rain or not. So yeah. Sure, I might have to mess around with this heat shield a little bit, get this gap to line up a little bit better. this one lined up really good. That one's right on. I'm sorry, there we go. Sorry about that. This heat shield lines up pretty good. So we'll get to the shakedown test a little bit later, but